Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Eagle Eye Podcast. It is episode 64. And well, we got plenty and plenty to talk about tonight. We got Mi Selección Talk, and we also have Club America updates and previews for the upcoming match against Tigres. But before I go any further, let me introduce my co host tonight, as always, Mr. Christian Rosendo. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Just quickly before we start, I want to give a shout out to my friend Louis for picking me up this sick polo. He was down in Mexico a couple weeks ago, and he visited Estadio Azteca, went into the team store, and picked this up for me. So much love, brother. Thank you. And he also got me the pink training jersey that everyone loves. You know that one, Ivan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he also got me that one too. So thank you, brother. And here I am wearing it. But yeah, I've been good though.
Awesome. Nice to hear you. And in tonight, joining us is a special guest, a returning guest from last season. You guys know him as the Carnicero on Twitter. Please give a round of applause to Mr. Brian. Brian, how are we?
Hey, you guys doing? I'm glad to be back. You can't get rid of me.
Nope. Can't get rid of you that easily. So you're in Cowboy Dan's shoes tonight for the podcast, as Dylan has gone back down to Rosarito and is experiencing the last week of spring break down there. So we give a huge shout out to our cowboy over there. Hopefully he's out there two-stepping it and maybe doing a little bit of cumbia in the beach.
He's practicing for that dance competition. Do you remember the one we talked about on Sunday?
Yes, apparently Dylan thinks it's a good idea to have Dancing with the Stars, but with Liga MX English people. So I don't know what would be your genre, Brian? What would you dance to?
Probably classical, maybe something with a little bit of violin or trumpet.
Nice. Okay, I like it. What would you go with, Christian?
I don't know. Maybe we get some bachata going.
Oh, bachatas for the ladies. Okay, I like it.
Why can't I be for the ladies too?
We gave you the option.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it depends.
You have to wait and see.
Okay, well, all right. I'll give that to you. Okay. I personally would leave it at cumbias, but that's just because that's just me. But that discussion will come on sometime later on in the year, hopefully. Who knows? Maybe we even get it going. We all submit something. We all do it through Google Hangouts.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true too.
Alrighty then. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got plenty to talk about. We got the Mexican national team to break down. Tata Martino's reign has begun down in Mexico, and with two very good victories against Chile and against Paraguay, it looks like people are starting to jump on that Tata Martino train. What you guys think about it?
Yeah, we saw it in your tweet.
Yeah, I mean, people are really enjoying it, and I mean, they got every right to, right? Because obviously after the Juan Carlos Osorio era, and then the little bit in between gaps for where we had Tuca Ferretti, and things were just really going our way, and now it looks like we have a very good, decent coach ahead, and now we'll have to wait to see what happens.
Oh,
who invited Brian?
Who made it right?
I'm trying to fill your shoes, dude.
As you guys can tell, Dylan is definitely at Rosarito right now.
Yeah, you hear the wind.
Why do you fill these people with lies?
You could tell you're at the beach right now, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay,
is there a hurricane going on?
Yeah, because there's cars at the beach.
I mean,
in the parking lot, yeah.
I see, yeah.
I'm in boots and khakis.
Okay, so you're a businessman. It's normal.
Oh dear Lord. They're not helping y'all's case.
Well, nice to have you, man. Nice to have you.
I try. I don't even know where I parked.
Well, while Dylan tries to find his parking spot down in Rosarito, gentlemen, why don't we jump into the Mexican national team first, since that seems to be on everyone's mind right now, and then we'll go talk America and we'll break down everything that happened at the Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California, and then we'll preview the game against Tigres. Obviously, a really, really big game coming this weekend. But let's talk Mexican national team. So the first game was against Chile down in San Diego, which we were down at the stadium covering for you guys live. Mexico went to win that game 3-1 against Chile. And Brian, I'm interested to hear, what was your final thoughts after the match ended? You know, because it was a game that not a lot of people were expecting to see come into Mexico's favor so easily.
Yeah, I mean, the game kind of started off with a little bit in Mexico's favor, but to see them win that smoothly was really good. And I know that it doesn't really clear the air completely for what happened 3 years ago, but to get a win is definitely something important, especially against that team. And when you look at the head-to-head, it's not lopsided. So for that last big loss to still be in people's minds, you kind of push the new era for Martino forward in a good way with that win. So I was really happy, to be honest. And speaking of which, one of my favorite players that game was Alvarez. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, I think Edson had a very, very good game on Friday, and then I had a pretty decent game on yesterday as well, on Tuesday against Paraguay.
Sure. Yeah.
Christian, tell me, how did you feel after the game? I know this is a manager you followed closely last season with Atlanta United, and you kind of gave us a heads up with kind of what to expect.
Yeah.
How did you see this game? How did you feel about it? Any player that stood out to you?
No, I was actually thoroughly impressed with Mexico. I felt like the first half, everyone was like a little bit flustered because we weren't playing, I guess how we all envisioned this Mexico to be. But as you saw in the second half, we really picked it up a notch, and that kind of just shows what Tata Martino can bring in the explosiveness. When to pick it up, when to turn it up, and you saw in the sprout of 15 minutes, we scored 3. And it was refreshing to see, and like Brian said, it was something to get over that 7-0 loss to Chile. And one player that impressed me was Carlos Rodriguez. He plays on Monterrey, if I'm not mistaken. I think he fit in perfectly. Didn't skip a beat, in my opinion. A player to look forward in future call-ups.
For sure.
Now, there is this kind of discussion that this Chile side was not the most the most strongest Chile side that could have been possible. Obviously, they had a lot of players that were injured. I mean, does that take away from anything? I mean, or should we still give credit to Tata because he even said himself in his press conference that he felt that the Chile national team was his Achilles heel. Obviously, losing those 2 Copa America finals to them, and for him to kind of get this win, I think is a little bit extra special. But should we focus too on maybe the side that Chile put out, or do you guys think that still it was more than decent?
Well, for me, I mean, coming into that match, you really don't know what to expect, especially what happened a few years ago. And I know that they played in the fall, and it was just a total cluster with Tuca's roster. It was a total mix, and it was a 1-0 loss. But still, this is kind of like the new era officially. So you kind of have to walk away with it happy, but you can't be overjoyous either. I mean, yeah, that's not the strongest Chile side, but it's still Chile. I mean, there's still strong players on that squad regardless. But like I said, getting that win set the tone a bit. So I mean, I'm happy with it, and I think the players should be too. But no, you don't want to be overblowing this win too much.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing too.
Dylan, can you talk?
Yes, I can talk if you don't want me talking and driving.
No, that's fine. That's fine. If you get pulled over, just say you're recording a podcast. That should help you.
I think that would be fine.
They know you. They know you.
I'll throw that same question towards your way. How did you feel about this Mexico win? Is there something that we should focus a little bit more on in regards to the Mexican national team? How did you see Tata? I mean, just in general, your 2 cents on everything that happened on Friday's game, because I think Tuesday's game was a little bit different.
Friday's game, no, I thought we saw a lot of good stuff. I wasn't necessarily expecting, I guess you could say, like the cleanest game, because I knew there were going to be some things that needed to be worked out still. Especially it being Tata's first game. First half was kind of antsy me. Second half it picked up a lot, and it showed a potential of what it could be. I don't think the fact that people criticize the Chile team that it was a weaker side. I don't think it should really be said, because like Ryan said, Chile is Chile. And so, we went out, we got the win. I think if I remember correctly, Tata wasn't really happy about letting in that goal from Nico Castillo that scored. And so, at the end of the day, you're going to expect some ups and downs, especially in the manager's first game. And so, but at the end of the day, like I said, we saw the potential of what it could be.
Definitely. I would say that this Mexico was in both games, both Friday's and Tuesday's game. I think it was a tale of two halves. And if you look back at the Mexico game against Chile, you see Chile close out the first half much better, much stronger, more ball possession. Mexico started off well. They started moving the ball around and they started to get a feel of what they were playing at. But it looked like Chile figured them out a little bit, started closing down the spaces, and they started getting more of the ball and pushing Mexico back into their own half. Second half, Mexico comes out again strong and explosive, and then, of course, comes the first goal, and I think that just kind of turns the game on its head. Kind of similar to the game against Paraguay, where Mexico, again, starts off strong in the first half, gets in the opponent's face, scores the goal, and completely dominates that half. And then you see the second half, again, they try to explode, but then I think Paraguay figures them out. They start pushing them in their own half, and then Paraguay kind of closes the game, or at least throws Mexico off their game more. And you don't see the same kind of football being played in both halves. I think it's fair to say, though, but you kind of expect that in these first two matches, right? Like you guys mentioned, it's a new team, it's a new coach, new style, but all signs point to something good, right? Christian, I see you nodding your head.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And I think this is a good thing, because I don't think you want to start off the new era, with two losses. I think this should relieve some pressure off of Tata's shoulders going into future matches. And like Dylan said, there are some few things we can clean up. Like, for instance, the first half against Chile and the second half against Paraguay. I think there's a lot of things that can be worked on, especially defensively. I think we still have those defensive collapses, and then against a better team, they can punish you for it. So that's something definitely to work on, but I think these first two games were something to look forward to.
Nice. Well, Dylan, any one player in particular that kind of stood out to you on Friday's game?
He got pulled over, 100%.
Oh my God. Well, we'll wait for him to give us a reply to that. I think we did see a lot of good things. Again, I think Edson really impressed me in that game.
Yeah,
it was just nice to see the team was playing with some good rhythm. The one player that kind of had a little bit of doubts was Chucky Lozano. I just felt he was a little bit too overly aggressive in this match.
Yeah,
I didn't like that. He could have easily seen a red card in that game, but he, fortunate enough that he didn't, and then of course goes and scores that goal. But who also looked very interesting, possibly a future America player, Arturo Vidal. I was surprised that he played for as much as he did too.
Yeah, he looked. Yeah. I would not mind him playing for America, especially when I watched him in the U.S. He was like a complete motor, dude. It was all over the place.
Yeah.
Completely crazy. And he had only arrived 2 days prior to that match.
Yeah. But I wanted to make one point though, because we keep people were mentioning that, like, yeah, there's no Alexis Sanchez and whatnot, but Mexico's missing players too.
I was just about to say that.
I mean, these are exhibitions, but there's several players that really can do damage if you really put a good lineup together. So I mean, it's both sides are missing people, but I just want to mention that before we moved on from that.
Nice. Yeah, understood. Alrighty then. San Diego was great. 49,000 plus went out to support the next national team. I think the fans got their money's worth in full with that 3-1 victory. Yep. So I think it was a fun game. It was a great atmosphere outside the stadium, and then afterwards too, everyone celebrating, going out and just completely enjoying themselves. So shout out to everyone who was there on Friday, and hope to cover more Mexico games for you guys in the future as well. So moving from there, we're gonna fast forward and jump to yesterday's match on Tuesday, where Mexico played against Paraguay, Tata Martino's Mexican ex-national team, in which he took them pretty far in that 2010 World Cup.
Quarterfinals.
And still to this day, he even mentioned in his press conference in San Diego, he said, still to this day, I wonder what that World Cup would have been if Salvador Cabañas would have been.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So I think
they would have converted that penalty that they missed.
Yeah,
definitely would. So obviously loved by everyone in Paraguay. Tata Martino returns to face off his ex side, and I mean completely almost destroys them in a 4-2 victory. Mexico had obviously the best first half, scoring 3 goals, and then the second half kind of dies out. And I think the reason why it dies out is not because Paraguay gets back a goal or a second goal. I think it's the red card incident that Miguel Almiron does that completely kind of turns the game upside down. I think since that challenge on Gallito Vázquez from Miguel Almiron, I think Mexico doesn't look like the same Mexico from that point on,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So obviously first half recap, I mean, they start off going, extremely well, passing the ball around. I think that's some of the best passing we've seen in the Mexican national team in quite some time, to get in front of goal and to finish the way they did. I mean, Edson had an assist. Jonathan Santos with a great quick ball down to Chicharito.
He played a great match, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm. Very, very impressed. I mean, there's not much more we could say about that first half than it was very good and very impressive,
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, they could have put 5 in there, to be honest.
100% could have put 5.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, when you were talking about the red card, I think that changed the moment, because every time I've seen Mexico play and there's been any type of injury or really hard foul, they start to shell up, and especially a friendly. So, for example, when they played Croatia and Araujo went off, you could just tell by the body language, the team was like, "Oh, we're done with this. We got a World Cup coming up. I don't want to play this." And when that big, really crazy tackle happens, and then again Araujo gets taken off, I think their minds were not in the right place, and that's why the scoreline started getting back into the game for Paraguay. But I don't think overall. I mean, that second half was just bizarre. It's hard to take a whole lot from that.
It is. It was just really, really strange all around. If I'm going back to the first half, there's one thing I do want to touch upon real quickly, and that's because he used to play with us, and a lot of people criticizing Diego Lainez for his start in that matchup, saying he didn't produce enough, saying that he could have done better, this, and that. I will say he did not have a good game, but I'm also not thinking that he shouldn't be seen or being called up again. I will argue that Conejito Brizuela did just as much as Lainez did in the second half.
Through the whole second half, yeah. In the first 10 minutes, he definitely looked like he was on fire, to be honest. I thought he was going to hook up with a goal there. But Lainez, I think he was just rushed. I think he was trying to rush too much, and he wasn't comfortable. Because, I mean, there's a lot of eyes on him, and when he plays with, in Spain, he's getting, 20, 30 minutes. He's got to produce as much as he can, and that was kind of the situation there, I was a little disappointed he didn't stay in, or they didn't move him to maybe an attacking midfielder role, because I think you gotta play around with his position a little bit to see what works, because he definitely has a talent.
Yeah, and I was going to go into that next, is that the fact that Linus, while we know he's a good winger, he much rather prefer to play on the left. If you're going to play him on the wing, he much rather play on the left than play on the right.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen that. And we both know that he loves to be in that attacking midfield role. That is his bread and butter. That is where he can produce the magic that he has in his feet. And I really wish, like you said, Brian, they would have played around with his position, because it would have been something special to see him right behind Chicharito and see what he could have done linking up with him.
And there were a few spritz of magic that he produced. It's just like you guys are saying, I don't think he got a lot of time to really show and demonstrate to everybody what he can do.
Yeah, Dylan,
he won fouls too.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't afraid to take on players too. That's the thing. But I just hope that that kind of figures it out, like where to put him, and if to call him up to the Gold Cup, because that's been an interesting topic recently. If he should go to the Gold Cup or he should go to the under-20 World Cup.
Right. Yes, and that's we'll dive into that a little bit right now. Dylan, can you hear me? Well, it looks like Cowboy Dan is still trying to figure out what's going on with his GPS. But
yes, I can hear you.
Oh, there you are. So, what's your thoughts on Linus?
Dude, I told you, life stabbed me in the kidneys and put sawdust on the wound. I didn't get to watch it.
Okay, understandable. Thought he would have caught some highlights, but it's okay. Cowboy Dan's a busy man down in spring break.
Dude, the life's cutting off my toes right now. I can't really walk.
Hence why you're driving, right?
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, yeah, the whole lining situation is a bit, I guess, tricky. Just excited, not to get too much into it, because I know we'll have this discussion later on in the summer. But just quickly, briefly, yes or no, with a little bit of words to back it up. Should Diego Lainez go to the Gold Cup? Brian?
100%. And the reason being is, I'll make this quick. The U20 championship against the U.S., they got played off the field. I think even if you put in a few more names, I don't think that squad is good enough to do anything. And if they got bounced on the group stage, that's a wasted summer for him.
Question?
He should go to the under-20 World Cup.
Why?
I don't think he has a guaranteed starting role in the Gold Cup. That's my personal view. So, I mean, if he does get bounced off early in the World Cup, I mean, there's a small chance he could get called off for the Gold Cup, but that's not 100%. But I would still rather him have a starting role, demonstrate what he has. I just think he should go to the under-20.
Dylan?
I'd prefer the Gold Cup, but my money says he's going to the World Cup.
All right. I'm going to. I said it, and I believe he should be going to the Gold Cup too. I just feel like it's gonna be a much better. This is gonna overall be better for him. I would feel in every aspect. And a lot of people are saying, well, scouts and this and that, but I mean, are we so quick to get him out of Real Betis?
No.
Exactly. Which is why I'm like, it doesn't matter if there's Manchester United scouts in the Gold Cup or in the Under-20 World Cup. It doesn't matter. You want this kid to grow as a player. He's at a good team. He's at a really good team, which if he stays there for 2-3 more seasons, he's going to become an even better player, and then he can make a jump to an even bigger club. But for right now, he's at a really, really good position. No need to move him. So I feel like he should just be playing with the big boys.
Yeah, I think if the situation was like the U23 Olympic qualifying was overlapping with the Gold Cup, then I think the situation, in my opinion, might be different, because I think that U23 is a much stronger field. But I just don't like what I saw at that U17 World Cup and then the U20 qualifying. He was by himself. They couldn't complete passes. I was disappointed by them, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to help him grow. I don't think it's going to help him mature as a player. I think being around those older players who technically more gifted and better playing than the under 20 kid. He's gonna grow. He's gonna learn from that. So I agree with Brian there. Yeah, I think it's gonna be much better for him to be at the Gold Cup, even without a starting position guaranteed.
That's
Because
yeah,
I
but
think he break through.
that's just my only thing though. Because if he had a guaranteed position in the Gold Cup, it's 100% he should go to the Gold Cup. But since he doesn't, and I don't think he'll get it, in my opinion, unless an injury happens, he's gonna see maybe 15, 20 minutes off the bench, and that's even if the game allows him. So I don't know, maybe this Mexico team can do something in the under 20s, but I just think right now he needs to be with them instead of the big boys.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what the decision is summer, but we'll definitely be covering that topic in a couple of months' time.
But I'll say this.
Get ready for the Gold Cup.
Feels like the kid can't catch a break. When he's at Betis, he gets taken out precautionary for a back injury, and then he misses 2 games, and then he comes to Mexico, and he starts a match, was kind of dicey, and now it's like, oh well, we're gonna send him to U20. I kind of feel for him. You know what I mean? He's kind of got pressure to perform every single second.
Well, that's what happens when you're the best the best talent in Mexico.
True.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But look, the kid's got a good head and got people around him, and he's got a good heart too. So,
yeah.
If anyone can pull it through, I think it's Diego Lainez.
100%.
Alrighty then, we'll wrap up this L3 talk with the end of the second half. After that Miguel Almiron foul, we said it. Mexico just didn't look like themselves. They got another goal back with Derlis Gonzalez putting one behind. That's
your guy.
Behind Godinho. Which, by the way, I tweeted out. I said, "Pay attention to this guy. I really want him in America." Goes off and scores a goal. Which, by the way,
that was a lot of skill to pull that off too.
It was. By the way, it was not George Sanchez's fault. Whoever keeps saying that on Twitter, that blame could easily be thrown Godinho's way, because as a goalkeeper, you have the peripheral view of seeing the whole pitch. Your defender, who has his back to the pitch, does not have that advantage. So you give him a ball, and by the way, it was not the easiest of balls to control either. A hard low pass, which he has to stop, and then you obviously see that the player is going to be pressing him. So I just felt like Godinho could have had a better ball to play, because if you play that back, he has three other options that he could definitely choose. I mean, one of them is to boot it high, the other one's to play it the other way. But as I would feel that falls more on the responsibility of the goalkeeper rather than George himself, who I think had a really good game, by the way.
For
George
his debut,
really impressed me in his debut.
No, 100%.
I think the only thing with that error was, I don't understand why no one else is talking.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, there's several players that are just kind of like looking at each other, and the ball gets stolen. I'm like, what? Someone say something.
Man, something clear, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was a bummer, but I mean, I didn't feel like Paraguay was going to win that game or anything, but
No. Imagine if Paraguay draws the game and
with
game
10 men,
3-3 with 10 men.
10 men, yeah, that's.
If I was to say player of the match, I would have gave it to Miguel Almiron, because his red card kind of changed the game up in Paraguay's favor.
Yeah, I think if you look at the Chile game, it was like respectable kind of chippy, and then that was like way overboard, and they made the whole game kind of.
And it's interesting because that's not his. You know Miguel Almiron a little bit better than us, Christian. He's not a dirty player.
Yeah, I know. Watching that, and I don't know, it was weird for me because I followed him all his years in Atlanta, and he's not that kind of player. He is not a dirty player. I don't care what anyone says. He is not a dirty player. Yeah, he gets in your face a lot. Yeah, he's a little bit, he kicks you a little bit here and there. But who doesn't? That's just his style of play. That's how he approaches the game. He is not a dirty player. I don't know where that came from, but it was a bummer to see. And he's getting a bad rep now, calling him a dirty player and stuff like that. I don't know if he deserves that much. It was a bad tackle. I'm not gonna say here and say it wasn't, but I don't think he should be getting a lot of this hatred, especially if they don't know his style of play and who he is.
I would dare to say that he just wanted to hit the showers early.
Most likely, I don't know, but just know I'm not that. I kind of am, but that's just not him. That's not the type of player who he is.
Another player I wouldn't mind at America, but
Oh,
that one's far along
I was
from
dreaming.
from happening.
Yeah,
Um,
that price tag was a little bit,
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm telling you, America needs oil money, but
we talked about it before.
that's for that's for another discussion. Um, but yeah, well, Mexico walks away with a 4-2 victory. You know that last goal, obviously offside from Alexis Vega.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, it's funny enough that they called offsides on Chicharito's goal to make it 4-1 against Chile,
Oh yeah.
and this one, which is a little bit more clear cut, just completely gets nullified by the officials and says, okay, play on. And good job by Chapitos Montes, who finds himself scoring in a Mexico jersey after that terrible injury that he suffered
Yeah, I was at that game.
8 years
That
ago.
was rough.
Still to this day, I can picture that leg dangling.
Yeah.
I saw it live.
I mean, anything else you gentlemen want to say in regards to the Mexican national team before we wrap this all up? Dylan, I'll throw it to you.
Why you throw it to me as soon as I put a fry in my mouth?
A fry.
Because maybe you shouldn't be eating while we're podcasting.
Eating, driving. What else does this guy do?
He does a lot. He does 7 things at once.
Mm-hmm.
Multitask.
He's still not talking.
Is the question still at me?
Yes.
Oh, good 2 games on the Tata. Still expecting some more. A lot of things to clean up and prepare for the Gold Cup this summer, but a great start to the Tata era.
Nice. Now, for those of you who are excited about the upcoming Arlington game, because if I say Dallas, Cowboy Dan will lose it. The upcoming Arlington game at the Cowboy Stadium, our very own AT&T Stadium. Our very own Cowboy Dan will be at that game, covering that game live for the Eagle Eye podcast. So if you want to be that lucky person to get a picture with Cowboy Dan, who's going to be all cowboyed out for that game, make sure you guys go find him in the stadium. We'll ping his location so you guys can go and bombard him with selfies. Isn't that right, Dylan?
I mean, you're the boss.
So basically, that's a yes. All right,
Yes,
Christian. Final thoughts on Mexico.
Two good games. It was what we needed in order for us to give us a good opinion on Tata. I really do want to say that Jonathan Dos Santos really impressed me that game against Paraguay. I think he is a player that we should look at going forward. Just the way he kind of controlled that midfield and distributing the play through Chicharito. I think that was a really good connection, and I would love to see more from him. Also, on a side note, we should probably mention that there's a draw going on right now for the CONCACAF Nations League. So once the groups get announced, we'll kind of interrupt and say that. But I just want to let you guys know that.
All right, so Christian will keep a close eye on that and will let us know what Mexico draws. But in the meantime, Brian, final thoughts on this Mexican national team adventure we started.
Yeah, good 2 wins. I think that when Mexico has its best 11, it can be a really, really, really good team under Martino, because I think he's got the control of the players, he's got the ears, and I'm looking forward to seeing the next one, to be honest. And by the way, love the black kit. I called it out. I know everyone's complaining about it. I loved it, and continue to with these type of kits. I like it.
I like the kit.
Nice. All right, final question about the Mexican national team, and then we'll jump over to America. Does Tata take us past the 5th game? Dylan.
I need to see more. I can't say right now.
It's way too early.
It's a yes or no. There's no maybes. No,
it's way too early.
It's way too early. You're asking a question 2 games into the era. You're just like any typical Mexican media person.
That's why I'm asking, because at the stadium after that Mexico-Chile win, there was whispers going on around about that. So, just simple yes or no.
I'm not worried about that now. When the time gets there, but I'm not worried about that right now.
Yes or no? That's all I want. Yes or no?
I think that wins the Gold Cup.
No comment.
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm asking. Does Data take us past the fifth game?
I played the fifth.
So that's a no because we get stuck at.
As of right now, no, he doesn't.
Okay, Brian.
Is it a 48 team World Cup or still 32?
No, it's
No, it's a 40.
40, yeah, 40, 48, whatever the hell it is.
Okay, format change. We go fifth game.
Nice. Okay. See?
Yes, I see that. Yeah.
Oh, so now you want to say yes?
Well, I mean, because the possibilities are more there than it was.
Better
Would it
rhythm.
be a 6? Yeah.
It's in the winter, right?
Oh yeah.
It's in the winter.
Different time of year. It's
Different
everything's
time of
coming
year.
together.
I think this is it. It's coming home.
It's coming home.
It's
You
coming
guys heard
back
it
to
here
you.
first.
It's coming back to El Rancho.
3 years before the World Cup starts. You guys heard it here on the Eagle Eye podcast. Mexico's getting past that fifth game.
Absolutely.
All
I blame
righty.
you if backlash happens.
Well, they'll have to archive this for
Well,
3 years
we'll
from now.
delete this episode and
And there, problem solved. They'll be
Yeah,
like,
so bookmark this episode, please.
all righty, gentlemen. Let's move on into America talk. But beforehand, Christian, do we have trivia for tonight?
We don't.
We do not have trivia for tonight. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, do what you want with Christian. We'll leave his Twitter handle on there. And but don't worry, he will make it up for you guys.
I can
He
make
will
it up.
make it up. He will make it up. That I promise you. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on into the next segment. And I want to give this segment a little bit of time because I felt we've missed out on talking about them for a little bit. So we're going to give them a little bit of a shout out here. The ladies, who, by the way, have qualified to their version of the Liga, correct, Dylan?
Yes. Correct.
So, how are we feeling about this? I mean, obviously they're defending their championship title. They've had a bit of a tough start of the season, but looks like things are gelling for them. I mean, Dylan, how are you looking at the ladies right now, who are just a couple of days away from playing Pumas in the Clásico Nacional, or not Clásico Nacional, excuse me, Clásico Capitulino. My bad.
Who made you host?
Oh, we already had the discussion.
Oh, here we go. Not again.
I got the short end of the stick.
Going forward, I mean, it's still kind of hard to say because again, we don't have that broadcast every week or every time they play, but just seeing from what we've seen and kind of just hearing and reading about it, I think things are going good, and things are going to be fine. Really, all you got to do is keep the momentum going and keep the rhythm going heading into the year.
Nice. Brian, anything? If you do you know anything about the ladies? Do you follow the ladies or not really?
I've just seen your update. That's all I've seen from them. So, but if they're you said they're reigning champions.
They're reigning champions, and they're looking to pull off what America's trying to do right now, the bicampeonato.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
you got to carry that glaring success. I mean, it's America. What are you thinking? Come on.
Obviously, the ladies with a lot of hard work still to be put in, but it's the Jornada 15 coming up, and they've already secured their spot into the next round. Christian, how do you feel? How do you see these ladies? Do you believe that we can pull off this bicampeonato now, or do we still have questions?
No, I think we can. I think this is a good thing, them qualifying into the Liga, because we've mentioned on the podcast, they've been a little not shaky, but they haven't been to the best that they can be. And with this qualification, I think now it's time to focus on the little things that they can improve on, and then in the long run make them a better team. But it's definitely possible. We'll have to keep a close eye on them.
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. So their upcoming match is against Pumas. They are away at over there with them. It is this Saturday on what we realized at the time zones. Huh?
I like how you worded that, over there with them. Like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's
Just the way
over
you
there
worded
at
it.
Pumas Stadium. So
Yeah, but
that game.
why couldn't you just say Pumas Stadium? You're just like over there with them.
Well, I
Wow,
mean, do we really
it's
have
the
to address
critical
Pumas
hour.
on here?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Just I don't know. Never mind. Just forget it.
Boom,
All right.
roasted.
Well, we'll move past that. And yeah, the ladies play on Saturday, March 30th, 9 p.m. Pacific time. No, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Uh, 11 Central and 12 Eastern because of the time zone and everything. So, you know, hopefully that game is broadcasted live through Univision. We don't know as of yet, but we will let you guys know if we hear anything. If so, then of course you guys know where to log on to follow game by game tweets. So we'll have you guys covered on that aspect if the game is transmitted live through Univision. So ladies, if you guys are watching for some odd reason, just know the Eagle Eye Boys got you guys' back and support you throughout the whole way. And then, of course, as always, on Saturday morning, first thing you do, just hashtag Let's Go Lady Aguilas. Alrighty. So, ladies, hopefully you guys can secure a win against Pumas. And, you know, how have we done? We've done good so far in the Clásicos, right? Dylan?
Yes. Wait, I'm trying to think. I can't remember if it was this
I,
Clausura or last Apertura we lost to Pumas.
I think it was last Apertura we lost to Pumas, but this Clausura we have a victory over Cruz Azul already.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they can make it, they can continue that reign ongoing. So that is that for the ladies. Now we'll move on into the last segment of the podcast, the most important part, really, and it's America Talk. So get ready to discuss everything Las Águilas del América. So, gentlemen, America just comes off the international break after a friendly match against Atlas at the Dignity Health Sports Arena in Carson, California. I was down at that game. I got to meet some great fans. Got to take amazing pictures of everything that was going on. And, well, you guys saw the game, I would imagine. Christian and Brian, did you guys watch?
Yes, I did. I saw Aguilar do his great dance, and I saw Menez scare us again. I don't know what's wrong with him and why he's breaking down. That worried me.
What worries you?
Jeremy.
Oh yes, I think the whole stadium held their breath when they saw
We
when
need
they
to
saw.
invest in some like alternative medicine here, like some stem cells for this poor guy, because he's on the ground half the game.
Well, it's crazy. It's crazy. The funny thing about Menes is he is so fragile, but he's also so good,
So
Yes,
talented.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
and it's crazy. Definitely crazy.
I
So we
want
were
him to work
definitely.
out so bad.
Yeah, and you know what? The funny thing is, I was talking to people at the club, and they were saying that Menes has grown a lot of cojones in these past months, since all he's been able to do is obviously work on his footwork and kind of rehabilitate himself. That in practices, he's chipping goalkeepers, he's doing fancy flicks, and they're all coming out. They're coming out. So it's just adding a bit to his ego and everything. So I think it's good to see Menes in this light, in the light where he looks hungry, he looks determined, he looks like he's motivated to showcase his talent. Because I think in the back of his mind, he knows that he's kind of playing for a job. His contract runs out at the end of the season.
Yeah.
There's an option for another year, but I mean, at this point, you wouldn't take it if you're America. But I mean, if Menes can steer you into the bicampeonato, then I mean, you obviously do.
Right. And especially it's more difficult now since we have a surplus of foreign players. So, for right now, Menes seems like an obvious choice to, offload.
Yeah, but we'll see, because he looked pretty good in the game against Atlas, and I mean the little chip he made, to score that penalty, which by the way he practiced that on Friday when I was down at the practice.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I was like, I don't think he'll do it, but he did it. I was like, okay. I mean, just goes to show you the guy's
It was
the
smooth.
guy's very very confident.
Yeah, for sure.
So obviously that game didn't end very well. America had a 2-0 lead and somehow seemed to bottle it. They ended up drawing 2-2. But we did see a lot of good youngsters come up in the ranks. You saw the like of Zamora, who, by the way, I think had a really good game. Um, I think Ivan Moreno came into the second half. He looked really good. Tony Lopez in that center mid role, kind of the Guido role or the Edson role, whatever you want to call it. He looked good too. He looked very good. And then Ibargüen also looking like he's determined after that Chivas. After what he did to Chivas, he looks like he's ready to continue his good run of form. So, I mean, obviously, you couldn't read too much into this game. One, it's a friendly. Two, you were missing what, like about 12 players because of national team call-ups.
Yeah.
So, I mean, from what you guys saw, is there any good that you can take away from this? Because there was only very few little starters.
I mean, it was a good start.
It
I mean,
was.
and then like you said, you saw some of the excuse me, you had some of the subs come in second half. Um, it just didn't necessarily gel well together because you don't often see these players play uh, like they did. Well, obviously, like you said, it was a friendly. The atmosphere is going to be different compared to what it'd be in Mexico, but at the end of the day, you saw some good stuff, and especially like you said from Zamora to one of the players, that could come up and be something good out of the cantera. So you saw some good, and at the end of the day, like you said, you can't read much into it because, like you said, a lot of players were gone.
Brian, what did you take away from this game?
Well, I mean, to be honest, you can't. It's just one of those we were talking about the Chile friendly and what that meant. You can't take too much away from this. I mean, obviously, you want Menez to get some rhythm, and I'm glad he scored. But and then you get some youngsters in there. But I mean, the 2-2 doesn't bother me, to be honest. You just kind of got to focus on you know who's out there and who looked good. I thought Moreno looked good and Lopez looked good too. Um, but yeah, you can't take. I mean, there's not too many huge takeaways from this, especially since they just won two Clásicos. So before this, so yeah, you can't stress too much on that.
And I think the one thing that after, especially winning those two Clásicos, we feared the most is because we were finally finding some rhythm, that this rhythm was going to be interrupted by this international break. But I would dare to say that it might not be the case because some of these players, they came into the national team and they left the national team. Obviously, one, healthy, which is the most important part, and two, with a bit of rhythm behind them. And you look at what Castillo did. Gets a goal against Mexico. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you look at
Kind of wish
what.
it would have on Tuesday, but
Yeah, but can't have it all. Can't have it
yeah.
all. But that's definitely gonna help him out. And his coach was actually talking really good about him as well, saying that he's gonna benefit from being there, and he's gonna become an even better Nico because of it. And Edson continuing to look good. George, who had I would say a really good game on Tuesday, and then you had Renato Ibarra who was playing against in Ecuador, and getting Guido, had a very good game again in Argentina.
Nothing but praises for Guido in Argentina. What I've been
I
seeing.
mean, definitely. So our players are coming into this with good rhythm. So I would imagine that it's only going to help and benefit because the upcoming game is going to be, I would say, one of the toughest ones so far this season against Tigres.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, it's been confirmed. Oriol Peralta will be ready for Tigres on Saturday.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, Piojo gave the nod, and so did Oriol Peralta on Saturday when we were at the mix zone.
Oh, okay.
So Oriol Peralta is gonna be good to go. So how do you guys feel about that? It looks like we're finally getting all of our injured players back. It looks like we have a full roster. Um, knowing what we just talked about and rhythm and everything, what do you guys expect coming into this Tigres game? Dylan?
I kind of see it as high intensity because because I feel like this team kind of needs to come out, and really, excuse me, uh, get on this team, and start to play their game and start playing it early, finding an early goal if possible, or if not, just keep having those chances and come out and just in full force.
Okay, okay. Christian?
Wait, what was the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, well, looks like someone's not paying attention.
Y'all complaining about me.
I said, how do you this game, coming into against Tigres, how do you feel?
Oh, extremely confident. I think that these two wins against Chivas, and then, like you said, the rhythm from our players in the international break are giving us good confidence going into this. I do predict that it's gonna be a back and forth game, but I also feel like we will have the edge over them.
Brian, your thoughts on this upcoming match against Tigres?
No, I agree. Like we said, players look good on their break, and pretty strong roster coming in. So I think that the confidence level should be high, and there's going to be a lot of options for Piojo coming into this.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, we have to talk about who's gonna start and everything. And knowing that we're gonna have probably all our players back and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see how you guys come to pick your lineups and what formation you're using. If you're using two strikers, if you're just using one. I mean, I'm interested to see what happens. I'll throw it to you first, Brian. What's your predicted lineup for Saturday against Tigres?
I probably wouldn't make too many differences from the Chivas win. So obviously Sanchez, Aguilera, Valdez, Aguilar, Alvarez, Guido. I think Ibarwin played there too.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe Menez if he's good. And Ibarra and then Castillo. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Okay, interesting. Alrighty, Christian.
Yeah, I think it's almost pretty good. Like it's Marchesin, Pablo Aguilar, Bruno Valdez, Aguilera, Jorge Sanchez, Edson Guido, Renato, Andres Imbarguen, Mateo Uribe in the kind of that camp position, and Nico Castillo as the lone striker.
Dylan.
It's interesting, because Brian went Menez and then Christian going Mateos. I think I would have to stick with Christian's lineup.
Okay. I mean, I can see both. I really can. But it just depends on Menace if Piojo thinks that he's ready for a starting position against Tigres.
Right.
Yeah. I find it difficult, but let's play it safe and let's say that he does go with Mateo Uribe in that cam spot. What can we expect from this America side, tactically speaking, going up against a very good Tigres side, who's gonna, who? What could we say Tigres' weakness is so far? Because they are in second place, so this is second against fourth.
Yes. I don't know. This Tigres team has been solid this season. It's man.
Brian, do you see any weaknesses in
There's
this
not
Tigres
a
side?
whole lot of weaknesses, but I have seen them mess up some finishes. I mean, there's sometimes they get some pretty clear chances that they just completely mess up. So that, and there some finishing might be a weakness, but they're a strong team. I mean, America should be confident, but you can't write this team off either.
Yeah, obviously no.
Mm-hmm.
So the chat's saying that there's a possibility that there is no Gignac.
Yes, I did see that too.
That doesn't mean anything, in my opinion.
Yeah, obviously they have a vast
squad
depth in
yes.
to their availability, but that is still something important because Gignac I feel like maybe is a bit of a leader in that side, so that could wear on this Tigres side if he doesn't play. But still, they got, like you mentioned, Christian, a lot of talent at their disposal that they could easily come and make the game a little bit more difficult for us. Now I'm interested to to hear what you guys think going forward, or as the whole game. What does America need to do to walk away with 3 points in the Estadio Seca against Tigres? What is it that Piojo needs to implement in his style of play against Tigres? And and who do you think needs to step up for us in this game? Christian, I'll throw it to you.
I think we're gonna look at the two men that are very important to our squad in Guido Rodriguez and Edson Alvarez. I think if they are able to really limit Guido Pizarro and Jesus Dueñas in that midfield and really limit the passes that both Julian and Luis Quinones get, I really do think that we can control that aspect and kind of swing the game in our favor. So for our wingers and Ibargüen and Ibarra to implement what they know, and I think that's the way to beat them.
Okay, nice. Brian, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, I definitely think Alvarez needs to be. Is going to be an important player because, like we said, looks good over those two friendlies, and he needs to carry that over to the club. Can't take any steps back. And I think Castillo. I think if he gets in a rhythm, is feeling confident, I think he could be a game changer for America.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, definitely. You know what? Dylan, can you hear me?
Yes.
Alrighty, give me your 2 cents on this.
Yeah, I'm gonna look forward to Bruno and Aguilera a lot. Um, really because I and then I think Christian put it best too, and Brian agreeing with him. I think it starts with Guido and Edson too, but um, it's gonna have to be a near perfect game for them, and it's really hard to do that. And so if there's a slip up, Bruno or Aguilera really have to step up and take charge in that back line to make sure um, there's no chance, for somebody to have a chance at much to see. Even though I say time and time again we don't deserve much to see, and neither does Argentina. And so, but especially because a lot of people have criticized Aguilera, um, which I can't see, and I agree with some of it. But it's time to step up really, and show why Piojo has the faith and trust in him.
Understood. Do you guys see an early goal happening in this matchup?
Probably not. No.
No.
I think the first few minutes of the game they're just gonna feel each other out and try to find each other's weaknesses.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, that's what I would imagine would actually happen. So, with that said, here is a bit of breaking news. The national team has just announced its Liga the Nation League of CONCACAF's group stage, and Mexico has drawn Panama and Bermuda. So how do you guys feel about that? Brian, how do you feel about Bermuda?
I think we could take about a U20 and get a result. Unfortunately,
I think we can get a U17 and get.
Yeah, I didn't want to go that. I didn't.
I
I
don't
I
care.
was thinking U14.
Okay, my indoor rec team.
You know what? Let's just go us four. Just us four versus their whole team. I think we can do it.
Hey, I saw somewhere someone say Cowboy Dan is a better goalkeeper than Raul Gudiño. So I think we're in safe hands.
Yeah, so we're in safe hands. All seriousness though, I think it's a pretty easy group for Mexico. I don't see any difficulty in this group whatsoever.
I will say this though, it was good to see Panama get a result against Brazil in Portugal. That was good to see because their World Cup was
it was
bad.
Was bad.
So,
yeah, it was terrible.
It was unholy on all righteous levels.
Yes.
So 1-1 against Brazil. A little bit of hype for them.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but Panama's always played us hard, so I think that's a team that we can't really take that lightly, you know?
Yeah.
Understood. Understood. All right, back to the Tigres versus America game. Um, yeah, I think it's going to be a really good matchup. It's really going to test us to see if we're actually at the level that we want to be. Obviously, we're getting to that point in the season where everything is just so tight, and you can't be giving up points. You can't be giving up anything away. And it starts off here against Tigres. You know, it doesn't get any easier from here. So let's hope that the boys can go out there, showcase, and demonstrate that they're definitely playing like champions, and that they deserve to be bicampeonato champions, which I think is possible. You know, if everyone remains healthy, and Nico continues to bag in some goals and some confidence, and Ibargüen can continue to grow and be the winger we've always expected him to be. I have no doubt that in the midfield we're in good hands. It's just a matter of fact that everything just starts gelling together.
Yeah. And
It
hopefully
has
they
to
get the
gel.
win. Hopefully they get the win because then at 8 o'clock Pacific is Monterrey Cruz Azul, because I want to enjoy that one. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if America gets a bad result, I'm gonna be not feeling good.
I mean, anything but a win can really influence our position in the table. If every team underneath us wins, we're out of the top 8.
Yep,
So
it's dicey.
it's very, very, very tight, and we always said this at this point of the season. This is the point of the season where you hope that your team kind of has this style of play, and they know what the objective is going forward, and how to play these tough games. This is the first test for America, in my opinion. It's a huge test. But if we can get over this hurdle, I really do think we have a strong chance of this bicampeonato.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, here comes the favorite part. Give you guys this
Boo.
prediction for the game on Saturday. And just because of that, Dylan, you're going first
Well, I gotta go first.
because you said boo.
Well, I mean, we should be nice to our guests and let our guests go first.
Well, you did say I'm the boss, so
Oh, that is true. Um, 2-1.
2-1 America.
Sure.
Oh, come on, Cowboy. Damn.
Yes, 2-1 America.
All right, all right. Christian, what is your prediction for Saturday?
1-1.
1-1. You're going with a draw. We need points, my guy.
Yeah. 1-1.
Oh, all right. Okay, Brian, what's your take?
4-3.
4-3.
What the?
Nice. I like it.
It's gonna be a banger.
That's what I was looking for.
I like it. I
That's
like
gonna
it.
be-
That's what I want. That's the kind of that's what I want here. I like it. So I'm going 3-0 America. All right. If we're going bold with it, I'm going 3-0 America.
Yeah, I didn't expect anything less.
All right. I would have said 4-0,
All right.
but I had to retire that ever since the World Cup.
Mhm.
It looks like people in the
Since you like Brian's response, he can have my place on the podcast.
Don't offer it because he will take it.
That's all right. Brian, you want it?
I'll mull it over.
All right. Well, these two decide what's going on with that. Obviously, let us know what you guys think in regards to that. I see the Holy Chicken Trinity is going for
The
win.
chicken.
Chicken Nuggets going 2-1. Chicken Little's going 3-2. By the way, it's Chicken Biscuit here today.
Yeah, we need chicken biscuit.
Looks like Chicken Biscuit might not have been able to make it today, but
Yeah.
obviously Louis, who, by the way, shout out to you, Louis. It is his birthday on Saturday, so happy birthday to you.
Yeah. Long support of the pod.
Long support of the podcast at America as well. So he's going with a 3-0 victory for America as well. So let us know what you guys are thinking in regards to the game on Saturday. And
0-0.
Carlos is going 0-0.
Yeah, I can almost bet it won't be a 0-0.
Looks like Dylan and Carlos were talking not that long ago. So
That would be rough.
that would be very rough. I don't think any of us want that. So yeah. we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully 3 points. Hopefully it
Hopefully
secures us and a place at the top. And with the results elsewhere, we'll see what happens. But I guess we're pretty confident that America can pull off if they play the right pieces. Correct?
100%. It's just we just can't have a lot of slip ups because this team will punish you. This Tigres team will punish you.
Yeah, definitely. Alrighty, before we wrap up the show, we just want to give a huge thank you and a huge shout out to every single one of you guys who have listened to us, supported us, followed us on Instagram and on Twitter. We have reached over 840 followers in such a short time frame. I know, Dylan, whenever I speak to you about this, we never had any idea we'd even get to this point, let alone to be where we're at right now.
I didn't think nobody would ever want to listen to us.
Right? I thought we were just going to be rambling on, just 3 people listening to us. 2 of them would have been us, just listening back to our rambles, and that one off person. And but no, thank you so much to every single one of you guys who have made this all possible. Because of you guys, we were able to go cover the game on Friday, and then of course we were there on Saturday, which was an absolute fan festival. Carson, you guys outdid yourself. To every single one of you guys who went to that game. I know that the club was very impressed with your guys' support and everything. So continue to be yourselves, continue to keep growing, and keep doing what you're doing. We will have news on that FIFA tournament that I have promised you guys, but unfortunately, we got way too busy with this week's schedule in regards to covering the matches. But I will have that out no later than next week, okay? And without further ado, Brian, thank you so much for coming back onto the podcast, my friend. It's been a while, but glad that you were able to make it.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. I'm like a virus. You can't totally get rid of me.
Well, I would say this, though. Every time we've had you on, you have been good luck. So
absolutely.
So I think we played our cards right here. If there's any one game that you wanted, that it was against Tigres. So hopefully we played our cards right here.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Christian, as always, it's been a pleasure. Dylan, thank you for taking time out from spring break to come chat with us.
Not on spring break.
He's trying to be modest with us.
Mm-hmm.
He's just trying to be modest with us. Christian, as always, thank you so much.
Of course, man. This is my favorite time of the week. You know this.
Favorite time of the week, and sexy polo shirt, by the way.
Sexy. Thank you.
I wasn't sure where you're going with that, and I'm glad it ended with the polo.
That's an off-camera discussion.
I would have said the same thing to you, but you're still yet to see your face, Brian. A lot of people are wondering what you look like.
Yeah, I'm really good looking.
None of us can argue against that. Alrighty. Well, the carnicero for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Where can I find you on Twitter, Brian?
Twitter at Brian RMW, and my articles are at the stoppage time. I'm gonna get some more Liga MX stuff in there, as well as Mexican national team. Nice. And I will be in Arlington, not Dallas. Arlington in June. I made the mistake last time, and it took me 40 minutes to get to the damn stadium every time.
So if you guys see Brian too, make sure you guys go say what's up to him. Take a picture with him and all his handsomeness as well. So a picture of Cowboy Dan and Brian together. Wow, that's something we're gonna have to find.
That's what I'm going for mainly.
Oh, here we go. It's gonna blow up Twitter.
That's what we're hoping for. That's what we're hoping for. So if you catch these 2 gentlemen out in Arlington, or for some of you, Dallas, if we're trying to be a little bit more general, make sure you do stop by and say hi to them.
No,
I know
what's general about Dallas and Arlington? They're 30 minutes away from each other.
I don't know. Do I look like a geography
expert?
Yeah. I could barely say the word right. You think I can? No, but in all seriousness, thank you guys for everything. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. We'll be catching you guys very, very soon on Twitter. Make sure you guys follow us on there at Eagle Eye Podcast. Huge shout out to La Resaca Americanista, who we collaborated with on Saturday. I took over their Instagram, and it was a lot of fun. So hopefully we can do more stuff with them down in Mexico City. And again, thank you to every single one of you guys. We'll see you guys on Twitter, and we'll see you guys on Saturday. Until next time, take care. And as always, Arriba en América.